Have you ever wondered about the pivotal moments that shaped the course of British rule in India? One such major milestone was the Charter Act of 1793, also known as the East India Company Act 1793, which was passed by the British Parliament to renew the charter of the British East India Company, thereby extending its rule over the British territories in India. This act was a legal instrument with numerous provisions. The first of these was the continuation of the company's rule and trade monopoly. The act essentially granted the company an additional 20 years of control over the British territories in India and its trade monopoly. The second provision established the acquisition of sovereignty. This meant that any territory acquired by the subjects of the Crown was on behalf of the Crown, and not in its own right. In other words, the company's political functions were officially declared to be on behalf of the British government. The Act also allowed for the company's dividends to be raised to 10%. This was a significant increase, demonstrating the profitability of the company's operations in India. The Charter Act of 1793 also expanded the Governor-General's powers. Not only could the Governor-General override the decisions of his council under certain circumstances, but he also held authority over the governors of Madras and Bombay. The Act also brought changes to the composition of the Board of Control. It was to have a president and 2 junior members who were not necessarily members of the Privy Council. Another provision required the company to pay the British government 5 lakhs from the Indian revenue annually, after all expenses. Senior company officials were barred from leaving India without permission, with the Act considering any such departure as a resignation. The company was also granted the authority to issue licenses to individuals and company employees to conduct trade in India, a privilege that led to shipments of opium to China. Finally, the Act separated the revenue administration and the judiciary functions of the company, leading to the disappearance of Mal Adalats or revenue courts. In summation, the Charter Act of 1793 was a significant step in the consolidation of British rule in India. It not only prolonged the company's rule and trade monopoly, but also clarified the relationship between the company and the British Crown. The Act introduced significant changes in the administrative structure, enhancing the powers of the Governor-General and altering the composition of the Board of Control. The provisions of the Act had far-reaching implications, shaping the trajectory of British rule in India for the next 2 decades.